You know how sometimes a plane starts out as a commercial dream but then becomes a game changer for the military? Well, the C-54 Skymaster is one of those stories. Back in the 1930s, Douglas Aircraft was riding high on the success of the DC-3 airliner and was working on its next big project, the DC-4. This four-engine, long-range airliner was supposed to revolutionize civilian air travel, but then World War II came along and changed everything. As the war raged on, the US military took notice of the DC-4's potential and decided to adapt it for military use. In 1942, just after America entered the war, the DC-4 was transformed into the C-54 Skymaster. They stripped it of its commercial luxuries, reinforced it for military cargo loads, and voila, the C-54 was born. This plane was designed to be practical, functional, and, let's be real, really cool. It had a 117-foot wingspan, 4 Pratt & Whitney R2000 twin Wasp radial engines, and could carry up to 28,000 pounds of payload. And get this, it could fly over 4,000 kilometers or 2,500 miles, depending on the load. What really set the C-54 apart from other military transport planes was its tricycle landing gear. Unlike the C-47, which had a tailwheel and low clearance, the Skymaster could land at standard airfields with ease. It was fast, reliable, and capable of spanning oceans. The military had never seen a transport plane like this before. As World War II was heating up, you might have wondered how the United States was going to manage its logistics. I mean, we're talking about projecting power and sustaining operations across 2 oceans. That's a whole lot of stuff to move around. And that's exactly what the C-54 Skymaster became. It was basically everywhere during the war. In the Pacific, it was a lifeline between the mainland and forward bases, shuttling troops, supplies, and even wounded soldiers back home. In Europe, it was responsible for getting high-priority cargo and top-ranking officials from London and North Africa and continental Europe. And in the China-Burma-India theater, it was a real daredevil, crossing the Himalayas, aka the Hump, to deliver supplies to Chinese forces fighting the Japanese, often in some pretty brutal weather conditions. But the C-54 was more than just a workhorse. It was also a VIP transport aircraft, ferrying big shots like President Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and General Eisenhower to wartime conferences. Roosevelt's personal C-54, which he nicknamed the Sacred Cow, was even modified with an elevator for his wheelchair and ended up being the prototype for modern presidential aircraft. So in a way, the Skymaster wasn't just a plane, it was a flying diplomatic suite, carrying decisions that would shape the future of the world. So, you're probably thinking, World War II ended in 1945, right? Well, not exactly. The C-54's most legendary mission was still to come, and it's a story that's both incredible and humbling. Fast forward to 1948, when Soviet forces decided to block all land routes into West Berlin, trying to starve the Allied sectors into submission. The only way to get in was by air, and that's when the real magic happened. The United States and Britain launched the Berlin Airlift, an 11-month operation that's still inspiring to this day. The C-54 Skymaster was the backbone of the American effort, and what a beast it was. Each one could carry up to 10 tons of cargo per flight. Think coal, baby food, and everything in between. And let me tell you, flying into Tempelhof Airport under strict schedules, low visibility, and Soviet harassment wasn't exactly a walk in the park. But the Skymasters didn't let that stop them. They made over 189,000 flights during the operation, and at the height of the airlift, one C-54 was landing in Berlin every 45 seconds. Can you even imagine? This operation wasn't just about saving a city. It was the first major confrontation of the Cold War, and the C-54 was right in the thick of it, without ever firing a shot. It's a testament to the power of human ingenuity and determination, and it's a story that never gets old. You're probably wondering how it stacked up against other big transport planes back in the day. I mean, how did it compare to the C-47 Skytrain or Dakota for that matter? The C-47 was a beast when it came to tactical transport. It could haul around 6,000 pounds of cargo, and it could take off and land on short runways. But let's be real, it wasn't exactly built for moving heavy loads over long distances. That's where the C-54 came in. The C-54 was like the ultimate workhorse of the skies. It had a much bigger payload capacity than the C-47, and it could fly for thousands of miles without needing to stop for fuel. I mean, it was like the C-47's cool older cousin. It could do all the same stuff, but on a much bigger scale. Now I know what you're thinking. What about the C-54's weaknesses? Well, let's just say it wasn't exactly the most agile plane out there, but for what it was designed for, moving troops and supplies over long distances, it was basically unbeatable. So, let's take a look back at the C-54 Skymaster from the year 2025. What do we make of this old girl? Technically, she's ancient. Her piston-driven engines, manual navigation, and lack of pressurization make her look like a relic from the past. But strategically, she was a game-changer. She's the one that pioneered the idea of strategic airlift, not just moving soldiers around, but keeping an entire military machine running globally. She paved the way for planes like the Starlifter, C-5 Galaxy, and C-17 Globemaster. And in today's world where speed and mobility are everything, whether it's responding to disasters, keeping the peace, or deterring conflicts, her legacy is seriously worth remembering. Some C-54s are still around today, lovingly restored by museums and flown at air shows. They're a reminder of a time when courage wasn't just about fighting, it was about connecting with people. The Douglas C-54 Skymaster didn't become famous for its firepower. It didn't swoop in with guns blazing, but it carried the weight of the war on its back. It carried hope, and it carried peace. From the skies of Normandy to the runways of Berlin, it proved that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is just show up on time, every time.